Hello and welcome back to the AFL Enjoys podcast. My name is Dean, joined as always by the boys, fellow enjoyers of the AFL, James Matsa, Georgie Sfenda. How's it going, boys?
Good, Dean, yourself?
Mate,
Doing really well, George.
fantastic, man. How's it going? What's happening there?
Every time you look at me directly in the eyes, it just makes me laugh. It's like you're expecting me to say something ridiculous, like straight away.
I'm waiting for a comment that's going to get me going, George, but no.
Fair enough, man.
Boys, we have another fun ranking episode today, don't we? So we are going to go through the top key forwards from the year 2020 until now.
Yep.
Ranking from 10 down to our number ones each. So we'll do it in order. I reckon Matsa will go first just because that's tradition around here.
That is the tradition that I go first.
So you can get us started, Matsa.
So number 10 was probably the position with the most variability for me. But I've ended up with a dude who's very central for his team's attack. And he's the person who breaks packs, not the most fashionable forward, but still scores a lot of goals. He's actually scored 132 goals in this time period. So that's about like 40 goals a year or 35-ish goals a year. I've gone with Brody Myercheck. So Checkers, he's my number 10. He's won their goal kicking record for 3 years, and that's on a really good team.
Yep.
So he makes the list. Having a really good 2023 as well. He'll win the goal kicking for them as well. And he might hit the 50-plus goal barrier. So, yeah, Brody Myercheck.
You did mention before we started that your 10 might surprise me, but also impress me.
Yep.
And I think you're right. He's not on my list, and actually I didn't even consider him, which shows that you probably did a bit more research than I did. But he's a very unheralded guy. So I think credit to you for giving him his flowers on the pod.
Yeah, well-deserved flowers. Honestly, I'm very proud of this list. Like, I actually put a time in like putting these guys through. I added up all the goals that these guys have scored since 2020. So, yeah, I'll put some effort in.
Okay, perfect. All right, my number 10, and I thought you guys would laugh at this one, but turns out Matt's has passed the test. I got Brody Myercheck.
Yes, that's it, bro.
Yes, bro.
Woo!
Yeah, as you said, what would Collingwood do without him? He's been their only key forward for ages. Mason Cox, he could be the best player on the field and the worst at the same time. So Myercheck's really their consistent player, and they need him, and he's the key to their forward line.
I like it, boys. Already we've started, and I've omitted someone that you guys have both included. But my number 10 is actually Nick the Soothe Larky.
Hey, there we go.
And look, is there a bit of bias in this? Sure. But let's be real. This guy's had close to no service for the better part of the last 3 or 4 years. And he still manages to be in the top 5 or so Coleman most years. And he's probably the best kick for goal on this list, to be honest. So in terms of set shot kicking, there's very few better than him.
Yeah, he's a super straight kick. Well, if you want to know how many goals he's scored compared to Myercheck in this example, Myercheck has had 132 goals, him 136. So that just shows how much goals he scores in a team, let's face it, they've not been giving him good service. So I think it's a fair pick.
Thank you. And
Nikos Lakis.
Yeah, and look, honestly, just a little heads up on the way I've sort of made my list is looking at the goals, of course, a little bit of stats, but mainly as well just who do I rate? And if I was starting a team, and I had to pick a big key forward, who would I want on my team? So the next one I've gone is Charlie Dixon. He's on my list. Okay, so Big Charlie, he just plays with a ferocity, great pack mark. When he's up and about, I think Port just goes to another gear. So, for me, mainly his aggression and his leadership as well, ever since he moved to Port, has really impressed me. So he finds a spot on my list.
Number 9, I've got Charlie Dixon.
Hey.
Yeah, so look, he's got to be in the top 10 list. I mean, super player. I think the only criticism I have on Dixon is he's not necessarily the most accurate set shot. Like, he is the type of forward that could miss a 30 meter out, it's a very slight angle type of kick. But, as you said, his angle is his superpower. And I think Port Adelaide need him at his best for them to be at their best. And, they're starring this year at the moment, Port. So if Charlie Dixon can find a bit of form, it's going to help them go a long way, I think.
Fair enough. My number 9, I feel like this is where my list, I'm thinking I should change it up a little bit, but I'm going to stick to my guns, right?
One pick ago, he's like,
I know.
Proud of my list.
I know. Now I've switched it up. But no, I've gone Jack Rewalt as number 9.
Okay.
And he probably should be a bit higher, but 144 goals in this time, goal kicking champion twice for them, won the premiership, obviously. So he's a fantastic forward. he's hard and soul for Richmond. But yeah, probably could have had him a bit higher. I'm not gonna lie, but he's number 9.
I think for me, look, were his better years before 2020? Absolutely, right?
Absolutely,
So
those were the Coleman
But
years.
he still scored a lot of goals.
he still scored
Yeah.
goals. He's definitely on the list for me. But I'm not going to judge you for having him at 9.
Yeah. All right, number 8 is Joe Danaher for me. So the thing with Joe Danaher, his 2020 to 2022 probably hasn't been super strong, but he's still scoring heaps of goals. And this year, he's going to be an All-Australian. So I've sort of factored that in. Like, well, he's not guaranteed All-Australian, but I think he's really up there in the calculations because he's best key forward on a top 4 team, and he's scored. I think he's top 5 in the Coleman. So I've got Joe Danaher up there. He's a big gun. What can I say? Great player.
He's not one of these guys that I've got at 11. So one of my
I don't have Joe
considerations.
Danaher either. Obviously part of the consideration, but no.
He was there at 10, and then I'm like, I want to put Lucky in. So he
fair
was the
enough.
one that I should have or could have put 10, but
He's the type of player that can just look incredible and also look like a spud at the same time. So he's had patches of both, but I think I'm with you, Matsa. He's been very consistent this year. So
Yeah.
nice. So my number 8, I've got Tom Lynch. So again, some of these forwards you could have higher or lower. He's a critical cog to Richmond's team. Him being injured this year has really affected them. I think one of my criticisms on Tom Lynch, and I think some other people agree, is that he's a little bit of he'll tear apart a bad team, but is he necessarily the clutch player that helps you win? Again, in a massive final or against a really big opposition, he can do that. He's definitely done that in the past, but he also beats up on some weaker teams as well. Still a great forward, a good shot at goal, and a main kind of pack mark type of player that helps with the structure. So I've got him a bit lower on the list than some of the other forwards.
interesting. Yeah, I've got him a little bit higher, to be honest, but
Same. Yeah.
yeah, I guess it is really personal preference at this point. Like we said before off air, these guys have all kicked a lot of goals in the past few years, so you can't really go wrong. I've got at 8 Jack Riewoldt. So Matsa mentioned him before. We did speak about him. So
I didn't really let him slip that much. Makes me feel
yeah,
good
that's
better.
why I had no issues with it because
Fair.
yeah, I'm sort of trying to order my list. It is a little bit recency biased as well because a lot of these guys had their best years before 2020. So yeah, he's at 8 for me, and then at 7 it's Buddy. So again, similar reasoning. You guys might have him higher. For me, he still kicked a lot of goals in the past few years. Matsa, the way he's reacting is just making me think maybe he's a bit higher on his list, but possibly.
He may not feature on my list.
Oh,
To be honest with you.
damn. Well,
Buddy,
fair enough. Well,
look-
we might as well talk about it then if he's not on your list.
Look, he would have been the legacy pick because he gave us probably the best moment since 2020, and that was when he scored his thousandth goal. But I added up all their goals, right? He's won the goal kicking record twice, and he scored 115 goals. It's quite a bit lower than the guys ahead of him, and it's not like he's been an All-Australian or just like this unplayable player really in the last 3 or so years. He's been good, but I don't think he's been better or more consistent than the guys ahead of him. So that's why he hasn't made the list.
It's an interesting one. I don't judge you for not putting him on there. My justification really is when he's out there, maybe not this year, but if you think back to 2020, 2021, Buddy's out there. There's 2-3 guys. One's on him, one's covering his lead. Like, you still had to be careful with this guy, or otherwise he'd kick a big bag on you. So injuries definitely a factor as well. But
And age, yeah.
and age. But the big bud, I couldn't leave him off the list for me.
Fair enough.
Nice. So number 7 for me.
Yeah, man.
I've also got the big bud.
You're just waiting for what I say. Just adding it to your list.
I actually don't have a list prepared.
That's why. So you copied me on the Maya check one.
Oh, that's good.
The one
No.
original pick you're going to give me a judge.
Man, well, I don't think there'll be that many originals. More about the order. Look, I've got Franklin. He was in the All-Australian squad 2021. So he's still been amongst it. I didn't have Buddy originally in there, but then when I was looking at the goals scored, I'm like, he's still put in a decent effort for most of these years. So I've put him in there. Obviously one of the greatest forwards we've ever seen, but when we're talking about this specific period, he obviously ranks lower.
Let's be fair. He is the best forward that any of us have
probably.
ever been able to watch.
That we've seen,
who's-
yeah.
Yeah, because obviously, we weren't alive for the Dunstalls and the Tony Locketts,
Yeah.
Well, we were alive, but we would have been like not able to speak at the time, so we wouldn't have really appreciated it as much.
Yeah, it's a fair call.
Look, there was Brendan Favola as well.
We did true. We did all get to experience Fev.
Who did we saw? We saw Fev. We saw Rewalt.
John O'Brown.
John O'Brown.
But Buddy,
Franklin.
Buddy's the dude.
Roughhead.
Rufford was a great forward as
Who
well.
else was
But
lucky?
Sav Rocker.
Big Severius.
Chris Tarrant.
Chris Tarrant, mate.
Pav.
Pav was unbelievable, man. We raved on him on another podcast recently.
We did end up watching his highlights after you left.
Yeah, we
George.
did. we did, man. Man, he was just like randomly agile and big. He had it all, mate.
Yeah, he was great. Anyway, back to this list.
Yeah,
We've got Pav at number 5.
Oh, mate.
oh man.
So you're up, Matsa.
So what was that? Was is this
Seven.
7? All right. So my 7th is Taylor Walker, Big Tex, and see, interesting with him, he had a bit of a period of time where we weren't sure if he was going to play again. He had some interesting circumstances. He seemed also washed on the football field as well. It wasn't just the the circumstances that happened to Tex, but he's scored a lot of goals in this time. He's been their top goal kicker every year since 2020. 156 goals to this point since 2020. And he's leading the Coleman in 2023 as we speak. Probably wins it at this point. So
I think with Big Tex, after the Crows had that disappointing grand final loss and then all that stuff about their camp and all that controversy as a club, he sort of just checked out, I reckon. Like, it seems to me like his form just went real down.
Yeah.
And then in the last few years, he's just been incredible, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
it's career best form.
yeah, he's nuts. I love him.
If he's fit mentally and physically, he's still dominant. Yeah.
All right, so I think it's my 6 now.
Yes.
And I've gone with Charlie Dixon at
Oh, wow.
6. So
Yeah.
I bumped him up a little bit. And reason for that, he's one of the few guys who's had an All-Australian appearance in this time. And it was during 2020, which was a bit of a compromised season. But regardless of that, Charlie Dixon was, the big guy, and again, we've talked about his anger, when he's angry.
He's
and
the Hulk, mate.
Yeah, he's the Hulk. So when he's angry and he's clunking marks and he's, creating, he's crashing packs, there's not too many better at that size. So I've gone with him at 6.
At my 6, I've got Jack Rewalt. So I've got Rewalt higher than both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got him higher than Lynch. He's Mr. Reliable. I mean, if you've got it, he's a type of player that, if your life depends on it and he's got a set shot, you could almost back him in. Obviously he's at the end of his career. I think this will probably be his last year. But still, kicked a lot of goals and been very reliable over the last couple of years. And obviously Tigers won the flag in 2020 as well. So big part of that.
Nice, man. I've got... This is my 6 is Tex. So, yeah, we spoke a bit about Taylor Walker before. Just one thing I'll add, man. I reckon this guy, for a key forward, does he have the best weak foot set shot? So his left foot,
Yeah,
for a key forward, is unreal.
I think he probably does, yeah.
Can't think of anyone else, even on this list or otherwise.
He's got that 5-star weak foot
5-star weak
on
foot,
FIFA.
man.
That's
Absolutely.
That's huge. That's huge in FIFA.
I'm not sure if that's
And
on
in
the
real
new
life
AFL
as well,
Is
but-
that on
He
the new
scored-
AFL
He
game?
scored a lot of his 10... He probably scored 3 of his 10 goals, his recent 10 goals on his left foot.
Just does it easily, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can't let this guy on his weak foot like it's a disadvantage. He's incredible. So then that brings me to my 5, right?
Yeah.
So here I've got Harry Mackay in my top 5.
Ooh, okay.
Obviously, the recency bias will tell you just put him down. He's on the list, but maybe shuffle him down a few pegs. But let's be real. Like, this guy here, he's in a bit of a slump, but he's unreal. One of the best marks for a key forward.
It's interesting. Sorry to interrupt, but like the way your list is lined, like sort of shaping up, I think I've forgotten someone. But I don't know. I don't know. Just
Really?
It's just the way that it's either you've forgotten someone, or
I've
you got
forgotten
someone, or you've overrated someone. But my list is starting to feel a bit shaky now. But
Nah.
we'll see. We'll see how we go. Though.
I don't-
Don't stress too much, man.
I don't-
I am stressed. I said I was proud about this, and I am still.
I don't think my top 4 will surprise you. Surely
So
not.
Mats has got...
Who did you pick as 5?
You got Harry Mackay higher then.
I've got Harry 5,
Yeah. Then
Tex 6, Buddy,
yeah.
Jack Rewalt,
Okay.
Dixon.
So there's someone in the top 4 that isn't in my top 4.
Wow.
That's the reason I'm a bit concerned.
I'll be surprised if you don't have these guys. Maybe if you've forgotten, I'll forgive you. But
Yeah, no, I must have forgotten someone. But let's keep it going.
We'll keep it
Sorry.
going.
Sorry for that.
No,
So
that's
number
all right.
5, Mackay.
He's got like Jesse Hogan or something.
Oh shit! Nah. But yeah, big Hazza Mackay. I think someone that really carried the Blues last year, and obviously he's got his teammate there who's not far away. But yeah, big Hazza when he's on form, got to have him there.
Nice. All right. So my number 5 is where I've got Tex. So I got Tex probably the highest out of everyone, out of you two. I think Taylor Walker is as skilled of a footballer as you'll ever see. We've talked about his ability on his left foot. His field kicking is exceptional. His goal kicking is exceptional. And he's had periods of time, even within seasons, maybe not for the whole season, where he's just been so unbelievably dominant. I think a couple of years ago in Supercoach, he had like a 10 weeks stint where he was at like 100 Supercoach like at half time, like every time. So he's just one of those players that he's a form player. And when he's in form, he's unstoppable and can't do anything wrong. So I've put him there almost on talent alone. But it's good to see that at times we've thought that he's finished, and then he comes in and plays serious football. So having a great season this year, had some up and downs throughout the last couple of seasons, but when he's up, he's as good as anyone. So I put him at 5.
Nice. At 5, I have Tom Lynch. So I've got him a bit higher than Dino anyway. I don't know. Where did you have him?
I had him low. I had him 8.
8. There we go. So I got him at 5. The reasoning for that is he's, again, one of the few guys who's been an All-Australian forward at this time, and also a best and fairest winner as well. So it's kind of rare for a key forward to win a best and fairest, and this is for a great team in Richmond as well. It's not like he's playing at a scrub team. So yeah, he makes the list at number 5. Just he's a big boy. He creates some structure going forward for Richmond. He was the final piece for their sort of dynasty style run that they had. So yeah, he's number 5. So my number 4 now, this is where I have Harry Mackay.
Okay.
So I'm curious. I don't know.
I think we've got the same top 4.
I think we have the same top 4, but Dean must have someone that we're missing, or maybe he's overrated someone massively. I don't know.
Yeah, but if I have overrated someone, but you don't have them at all, I'll be surprised. I think I'd be more in the right in that case.
I'm very curious to see how this goes. So
Interesting.
top 4. So I've got Mackay. Mackay, who's been a Coleman medalist this time, All-Australian, 145 goals since 2020. Man's a gun. And, I'm probably I'll let Georgie, talk his flowers about him, a bit later because, he's a Carlton fan. But,
I think I know what you're talking about, and I'll justify it, but that's okay.
Yeah, there we go.
That's all right.
I'm trying to think, there's someone I probably don't even have on my list that you've put in your top 4. That's the thing that's bugging me. It's like you've left me on a cliffhanger here, man. I want to skip.
We're both really scared.
Let's get to it.
No, all right. You go for your number 4.
I've got Harry at number 4 as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, look, he's got his goal kicking problems this year, but he's historically been an accurate goal kicker. But it's not just his... Yeah, obviously key forwards are there to kick goals, but his athleticism, his field kicking, his contested marking, the fact that he's so big and players will just have to give free kicks away because they can't match him. If he's in a one-on-one contest, he'll just win. And he's a Coleman medalist and an All-Australian, so he's number 4.
Nice, man. So my 4, I think this is the guy that you might have just excluded, and I'd understand if you did, maybe. I'm a bit scared to say his name now.
Who is it, bro?
Who is it, huh?
Charlie Kerner?
No, wait. No,
because he's only played 2 of the seasons. That's why.
He could have played one of those seasons.
Okay, that's why
I thought one game. And
I thought maybe you guys might have omitted him just due to lack of games.
No,
Who is it?
I don't know who this dude is. You know what I mean? It's bugging me, man.
I think he's done the maths wrong.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what he's done.
I have a feeling. I don't know. One of us has missed something.
Anyway,
Go now. Keep going.
Charlie
Kerner.
For context of why I'm so terrified, because on the other pod we did, not sure the order we're going to release these, but the midfielder ranking pod.
Yeah, Dino.
If you know, you know.
If you know. Dino got I got very angry. I got very angry.
You know, you know.
I feel like I'm being primed to get angry again.
Well, let's all talk nice things about Charlie Kerner for a bit before
let's be
before the
friendly.
anger ensues. So
I think Charlie Kerner, rather, he's probably the most talented forward we have in the league right now.
Yeah,
and let's be fair. Like, if you're picking to make a team, right? Like, just from scratch, he said, "All right, we're going to do a fantasy draft of all AFL players." He probably goes number 1.
I think he does, yeah.
Like,
because of age. Like, I just said Tex Walker is as talented as it comes. I think that, he's probably up there in talent as well. But I think Charlie Kerner, given he's coming into his prime, I think he's 26.
Man,
I mean, Tex is like 40. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. Look, I've got Charlie Kerner at number 3 as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's won the Coleman. He had knee injuries back to back, and then comes in and wins the Coleman in his first year. Just some pure talent. His field kicking is as good as anything I've seen from any midfielder. He's an aerobic beast. He's a physical specimen. His marking ability, like he is a perfect footballer.
Calm down, George. Relax.
Yeah, wait. So I'm
Getting excited.
He's
Here.
so good. Bro.
can we just recap quickly, right? So I had Mackay at 4.
Mackay 4.
4. Who was your
I
4?
had Kerno at 4. I didn't say my 3. Can I
Yeah.
just backtrack?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, so we
Yeah,
skipped,
all
we
good.
skipped one. But yeah, no, we'll go Daniel. Who's your 3?
So my 3 is Tom Lynch.
Tom Lynch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what's happened. You've gone Tom Lynch higher. All right. I'm okay with that. Dano.
All this controversy.
Didn't you say Tom Lynch
I
already?
swear you already said Tom Lynch.
No.
There was
Someone
there
else
you go.
did. I didn't say Tom Lynch.
Nah.
I thought you said Tom Lynch, bro.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
definitely
Now
not.
there you go. No, because there was someone there. I'm like, there's someone.
I was getting really nervous.
Yeah. No, Tom
Because
Lynch.
I'm looking at the guys like they're all good.
Look, I think you've over. I don't know.
Wait, where'd you put Harry Mackay?
5?
5.
Oh, okay.
Said Tom
5
Lynch.
5 is Mackay, 4 is Kerno, 3 is Lynch.
Okay.
I know George
Alright.
is triggered by Lynch on top of Kerno
Yeah,
right
I
now.
think that's
wild,
fair enough.
bro.
That's
wild, bro.
Look, my justification is seriously just the years played. Honestly, like for me, I'm looking at the years in this one. I had to draw a line somewhere, and Kerno was the unlucky change there from 3 to 4. But obviously, I agree with everything you said. Like if we were just going by talent alone, he would be one. So,
fair enough.
I think Lynch gets a lot of that flat track bully vibe to him, but you have to then consider when he's playing against the best teams, not only do they have a better defender on him, but the team system is a lot better. So you can't really put that all on him.
Definitely.
Key forwards a lot of the time in grand finals and stuff aren't the ones to win the game anyway. They're just there to be solid and not lose the contest. So I don't ever hate him for that, to be honest. And I just think he's a physical beast.
Yeah. You know what? Then you can rest easy now. I think
Man, I was
you're fine.
stressed.
I
for
need
a
him
bit.
to recap his. Can you go from 10
All right.
down?
I'll
Yeah.
count down. 10 was Larky.
Yep.
9 was Dixon. 8 was Rewalt. 7 was Buddy. 6 was Tex. 5 was Mackay.
Yeah.
4 Kerno. 3 Lynch.
Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
so it's the same as ours, except we had my check and he's got lucky
Yeah.
in terms, but other than order.
So I'm
Interesting.
saved.
I have Danaher. Do you guys have Danaher?
No, I don't have done
No,
it.
you guys don't have Danaher.
I had
That's
Buddy.
fine.
And you had
No,
Danaher.
and we've got Buddy and you had done her.
There we go. There we go. So at least pretty similar. I think we've got 8 of the same and 2 different.
And none of it was offensive in any way. I don't
No,
think.
no.
Our
It
top
was
two,
almost.
Our
Again,
top 2 is the same.
if
So
you haven't-
I haven't said my. Have I said my third? I haven't said it's Charlie Kerno's my
Yeah,
third.
yeah.
I don't know if we got to my third, but yeah.
Yeah.
Your third was Lynch,
Kerno.
Kerno, mine's Kerno as well. So then it comes around to my second.
There's only one answer.
There's only one answer.
Yeah.
George always has this number
Yeah.
one's number one. There's no push or shove
Look,
here.
bro, the
In
number
my
one.
eyes, the number one is super clear as well.
Yeah, it's super clear.
Yeah. So my number 2 is Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah, that's right.
That is the correct answer.
Mine's
I've gone
Jeremy
2
Cameron.
Jazza as well.
Yeah. There
We've
we
all
go.
got and we all got the same number.
We'll talk about Cameron a little bit, right? So Cameron in this time has the second most goals of any key forward to the guy who's number 1, right?
Correct.
To his teammate, which is crazy. This guy's won a best and fairest in this time, a premiership. He's only had 1 All-Australian. You would have thought he'd have more. But yeah, Jeremy Cameron
The
is
thing
just
about
such...
the thing about all Australians with forwards is like really the common leader gets the All Australian. Like you know, he's been up there with goals for his whole career. So
Yeah, and the thing with him, he's just such a dynamic forward because his motor is crazy. The way he runs up and down the field, he could probably play as a tall midfielder and be as effective. But you've got him in the forward line. He has a good kick into the 50 as well. Just fantastic player.
I mean, the first like 6 or 7 weeks of football he played this year was almost as perfect football a forward can play.
Agreed.
You know, and like it was almost impossible for him to miss no matter where he took the shot from. So yeah, super talented footballer. And I think he's the reason he's recruiting to Geelong is the reason they won the flag. So
There we
Couldn't
go.
agree more.
And we'll do it together. We'll release our number 1.
Our number 1 is
Paddy
Tom
Down.
Hawkins.
Tommy Hawkins. It is
Yeah,
Tommy Hawkins. Man, he scored 215 goals. in
Far
this
out,
time.
man.
And that's one compromised season in 2020.
Yeah.
And that's, 15 rounds or 16 rounds into 2023. That's a crazy amount of goals.
I've got to be honest, like I'm happy that you guys have him number 1 as well because I didn't actually look at who scored the most goals and all this stuff. Like I just went purely off vibes and
And your
who I think
vibes
is the
were
best,
correct.
and
Yeah,
my
no.
vibes were correct.
Your vibes were correct.
But I think he's been All Australian every year.
He has. He has
And the
3
thing is with him,
All-Australians.
yeah,
and one of them as a captain.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, exactly
and a
right.
Coleman.
And let's not forget as well, this guy, he kicks a lot of goals, and he also is just teeing up the Cats players with assists.
A lot of assists, yeah.
Either accidentally by crashing a pack, or literally just being unselfish.
And he's also probably the best forward, like ruck
yes,
guy. So anytime there's a forward like throw in, he'll push off his opponent and just kick a goal.
he's an exceptional player.
It's one of those 2 things that like the commentators always say. It's like, oh, he loves to dish it off to his teammates. And
Yeah.
I don't know why I did the BT voice, but oh, he loves doing it.
The only
and
thing
then
that-
the other one is the ruck contest.
That's it, the
Oh,
two
you,
things.
you got to be careful, mate, when he's up forward and there's a ruck
Well,
contest.
that's what
you
Luke
know.
Hodge always likes to point out. Oh, watch him. He always tries to push blokes out here.
Yeah.
Well done, Hodgie. You thought of that one. Well
I
done.
know.
It's
Also, just Hodgie calling the players blokes all the time is just cringe, man. Anyway,
yeah, that's I've noticed that. I will pay
you
attention
now
to it
won't be able to unnotice it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're gonna wreck the broadcast for me.
You're right about the fact that like they mentioned he's like, bruh, look, Hawkins, I reckon he gives away half of his goals as well.
Yeah.
Anytime it's like he's kicked 700 goals for his career, I reckon he's given away half of that. Like every time he kicks a goal.
But the way they talk about him is that if he did,
Wouldn't it be funny if his assists were actually quite low? And no one
yeah, I
ever
know.
looked it up?
We have to suss it out. But like, can you imagine? Like, they talk about it as if he didn't give all those hand passes,
He'd
off,
be Buddy.
He'd be Tony Lockett. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'd have 1,500 goals. And maybe he would. Yeah. Shout out to Tom Hawkins, who actually, I feel like he got better as he's aged somehow.
He did. Well,
Like,
he definitely did.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, like he's just gotten bigger, stronger. He hasn't lost really any of his speed.
And
like,
he looks
apart
so-
from this year.
He
Maybe
look,
a
he
little
looked so bad at the start of the year, but he's kind of found, his form. Apparently, he had a bad preseason, so he's coming good as well.
and that's why Geelong. I mean, there's a lot of reasons they've been relevant for so many years, but he's been just a focal point there since the previous generations, elite teams and flag winning teams. So he's been there to see it all in the past 10 plus years. So mainstay there, absolute beast.
I reckon now that's probably the least like argumentative list we could have had. I reckon.
Yeah,
That was like once that you had me scared, Dana. 'cause
you had me scared, bro.
Like, I didn't realize
Hang
that you. I thought that you had already said Tom Lynch.
So did I, to be fair, because
Yeah.
I said I think I've got Tom Lynch like the lowest.
For anyone wondering why Matsa was worried, but why I was terrified was just watch the midfield depth that we did.
Watch the
If it's
midfield
not out
episode.
yet, wait for it.
He,
but who could have? It couldn't have been anyone else. These are the big boys.
They have to be them, right?
yeah, like Dino omitted someone. I couldn't understand it. And the thing is, I'm going into it, right? Because one of the excuses you gave was this guy plays for a bad team, right? But then another guy who you had in the same spot that we had him, you had Took Miller, right? He also played for a bad team.
I
So
may-
what type of argument is that?
Hey, we're crossing everything.
No, I'm crossing
I
episodes
may
right now.
have contradicted myself, and I'll say sure.
Yeah, you
But
did.
mate, did we not after the pod put on highlights of this supposed player and just struggle to find anything impressive at all?
The thing
that
is-
happened.
The thing is, he's such a simple play. He's
Okay,
a
Wow,
workman.
you
simple, boring. All right.
That doesn't. But that,
Should we talk about some forwards that got snubbed from this? list?
yes, no, I've got a pretty big list here of snub forwards.
I did mention already Danaher was a consideration for me. I didn't have Myercheck. One of them I had there was Josh Kennedy.
Yes,
Yeah,
same.
I thought about him as well, but because he still kicked a lot of goals in 2020, didn't he?
Man, in 3 seasons he scored 112, and we're talking like an old Josh Kennedy,
Yeah.
and that includes the compromise season.
Yeah.
That's 30 to 40 goals a year. Now that's
What about
incredible.
Jack Darling? Should he?
I didn't look at him at all.
Yeah,
I did not look at Jack. And
Neither.
maybe that's bad.
I
Maybe
thought
I
about
missed
it.
him.
I don't know.
I didn't
Dude,
consider.
West Coast just has been so bad the last 2 seasons. I just can't pick anyone from their team.
Yeah.
Because the other one's like up and comer Oscar Allen, who's performing incredibly this year. In like the worst team in history, he's still up there in the Commons. So
See, the guy who scored the most goals, unless it's because I haven't added up Darling's goal count, but Aaron Norton has kicked 141 goals. That's the
Yeah,
most out of the
wow.
dudes that I've snubbed.
wow, I didn't even think of Norton, to be honest. Oh, I
yeah.
did, but
I thought of him, but
Nah, Dean doesn't like Norton. He doesn't vibe him very much.
yeah, I think he's a bit overrated at this point. But clearly he's not. Like he kicks a lot of goals. So.
Yeah. Peter Wright won a best and fairest last year.
I
but-
liked Peter Wright. Just only one season.
exactly.
Big 2 meter.
Yeah.
Another super accurate
Yeah.
kick.
The King brothers, too, that I had in consideration, but just again, not enough games played.
Yeah.
Injuries. Like if they had like a good run at it, then maybe they're probably in the list. When we do, like I don't know, in 5 years we do another list. Both of them are going to be in.
They have to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think Ben over Max too. I think
He's
better.
actually Yeah, he scored more goals than King.
Yeah.
Max
has had his goal kicking issues, but Ben's been more consistent.
Yeah.
Is Ben Sons?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably just less heralded because he doesn't play in Victoria. But yeah, no, shout out to those boys. It's going to be interesting to see our end of year picks. They're probably going to be really similar, to be honest with you. There's not many people who I think are going to fall out apart from Tom Lynch
and Jack
Riewoldt. Like the rest are staying up there.
Buddy for me.
How disappointing is it Carlton has 2 top 4 forwards in the game?
And you haven't
still
played
no
finals.
finals.
In any
No
of these
finals,
years.
we had like kicked 60 points like 10 times in a row.
Yeah, and the other guy the other team who has top 4 forwards has won a premiership. And sorry, bro.
That's right.
But hey, who knows?
It's not all right, but thank you.
It really isn't. But yeah, no, I'm happy with how you guys formulated.
Bit of a scare there, but I think we come out unscathed.
Well done, lads.
Good work.
Well done, boys. Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening. As always, please leave a like and sub on the video and follow all the socials. I hear the TikTok's going a bit off.
Yeah, man.
Having some fun there. So just
Shout
keep
out,
a look out for all of those. Shout out to TikTok, man.
I never thought I'd ever say that. I was always like that non-TikTok guy. Where I'm like, nah, I can't download that app for kids. I'm not touching TikTok. I'm just like, nah.
Now he's doing the dances and stuff.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. TikTok dances soon, with AFL players.
That's it, man. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.